Hi there, this is Garrett, and today we're going to talk about what students have been loving and discovering with their Noteability app. So Noteability, we found, is one of the most often used apps here at Hiram College with the iPad Pros. Students love it. It has some enhanced features for organizing and for taking notes. You can import other documents. You're probably familiar with that, such as PDFs and slides. This is really common, but there's some things that some instructors don't know, but students have figured out. And we've found this through doing interviews and talking to students and talking to certain instructors who spend a lot of time with the app. So I want to go over a couple of those in this quick video, and I encourage you to play along with your own iPad to kind of try them out for yourself. So one of the things, number one, is how to add an extra blank page in between notes. And so this was really discovered when instructors were sharing PowerPoint slides. This is really common. They'll share the slides, the PowerPoints, or what have you, such as this one. I've imported this as a PDF here. So I'm role-playing the student who's imported slides, and this is great, but the issue is there's not a lot of space to actually take notes here. You can annotate it and whatnot, but it doesn't give you a lot of room to kind of take good quality notes. There's color issues, there's spacing issues, but there's a way of actually adding pages. If I click up here on the upper right, this little page button, up in the upper right corner, it opens up a side panel. And now what I can do, if I want an extra page, I tap on this little waterfall button, and I locate the Add Page button. So that's going to just dump in a blank page here that now I can begin to take my long form notes. I can type, I can insert whatever I want. We can have the flexibility here of both importing a PDF or a slide and then room still to kind of build our own notes in. So that's a really handy feature to show students and that some students are utilizing. And of course, you can reorder these by holding and pressing on the slides and dragging them in different areas of Notability. So that's also really handy if you want to kind of move things around. It's also good to kind of integrate these notes into one big file. So students have found, if they don't know how to do this, they're creating multiple different note files and things are kind of in multiple places. So it makes it harder to review quickly and easily. Okay, so that's one of the first big features we wanted to show off. The second one is this item 2, hidden side panel to display 2 notes side by side. So I wasn't familiar with this until an instructor showed me. And what you do is you pull from on the bezel on the left hand, you swipe over. It's just this hidden panel that opens up, and now you can select another note. Here we go. So you pull and then you hold and you drag and drop that note, and it's going to open up 2 different notes right side by side. So this is really handy. A lot of people don't know how to do this because, if you're trying old school multitasking like so, you can't actually open up 2 instances of the same app. So in order to get 2 different notes, you'd have to kind of export it to Word or something else kind of clunky like that. But Notability's kind of responded by saying, hey, you can do this, and they've built in this little handy slider so you can do 2 Notability files right side by side. So that's another one of those hidden features a lot of people don't know about. The other thing, of course, is voice recording. You're probably familiar with this microphone at the top. You click it, and it'll start capturing your audio. It'll also start capturing your animations, and it'll reanimate them for you as you play it. I won't do that now, but don't forget to click that caret button. And there's more options here, such as adding extra recordings after the initial one and rewinding and so on. Notice it grays out the animation after you've done it, and then it will reanimate it as you listen to review the notes to kind of show you. It'll stamp it along with the time signature for your animation, so that's pretty handy. The other one is voice dictation. So this isn't native to Notability, but this is built into the iOS. And so to get voice dictation, you want to tap on your text tool in the upper toolbar here. So you want to be in the text, using the text tool, and you open up your on-screen keyboard. I don't think this is default on with your built-in keyboard. There's probably a way to get there, but easiest way to bring up your on-screen keyboard, and then you want to locate this microphone button down here. I don't know if this is going to work when I'm screen recording, but let's and you come up here to Dictation, and you just make sure here that Enable Dictation is on. Oftentimes it's not on by default, so just make sure that's on, and you'll be able to find it. I'm going to switch back and turn that off. So voice recording, voice dictation, we want to give students options. We want to give them multiple means of expression and multiple means of access. So custom slides now. This is a topic I think is really cool, and it's building off of this idea of when we import slides or we share slides to students, and they import them and annotate them in Notability. And the idea is that if we make a little design tweak to those slides, and perhaps we'll edit the slides we share with students so that we share a deck of slides built for them, which aren't complete. They're incomplete, so such as this one. So this is the slide that I share with students, but then this is my master slide that I'm lecturing from. And now I ask students to, as I'm lecturing or teaching, to fill out the slide and do a ton of activities. So sketch or label the 4 threads of the logo. So as I'm talking about it, I can come up here and create my hiker. And sort of the doodling and the sketching kind of forces students to be active, to be thinking. We have the mobile text symbol. We have the mindfulness blob. And so on. So there's other ways of course, doing this, right? I like the doodle one. So here's my master slide. I'm sort of comparing what it means to be a producer to a consumer in technology, instead of just sort of passively sitting there and having no voice. We want to be using GarageBand. And so, asking again to do sort of fun doodles on the side or kind of do whatever they want to do. So all we're doing here is editing our slides slightly, right in PowerPoint or right in whatever you use to create slides. And you're leaving extra space and maybe even building in activities for students to do. So here's an example of, labeling a timeline. You could also have open-ended response questions. We want students to do, pause and do a think, pair, share, a group activity. And now they're taking notes right in their slides. So again, you could do this just by having students add an extra blank page, but kind of there's other ways of building this out in a more structured fashion. So here I've taken in Cornell-style notes, and I've built a sort of 3 or 4 box style notes right into my PowerPoint slides. And there's ways of kind of building this out. Students might appreciate this. We've seen instructors here at Hiram do this with physics or word problems. They built them right into the notes, and then students can work on them right here. And here's a screenshot of a screenshot of a slide built into Notability. So there's a lot of room to play with that. I think it's a cool little hack for people who want to kind of start experimenting, but don't want to switch to a new app. You can still use what you're comfortable with in PowerPoint and just make a little bit of a design addition, and then now students are invited to be a little more active or participatory with the teaching. OneNote. My last note. Comment here is that there's other options. You don't have to stick to Notability. And the one thing that OneNote, this is a Microsoft app, does really well, here it is it's this purple one. And if you don't have it here, you can download it via your self-service app. One thing that OneNote does really well is it allows me to pinch and zoom. So here I've imported these slides. And what's cool is that it allows me to pan out to the side and begin to, when I move over to draw, to take notes as I want here alongside next to the slides. So there it is, an extra feature that Notability can't do. All right, so I invite you to tinker around and give us a shout if you've got any questions or if we've missed anything. What have you learned with Notability? Thanks so much.